Call the meeting of the fiscal court to order. We have some guests this morning. Mark Harrison.
Yes,
Mark?
sir. Well, good morning. Good to be back in here. I hadn't been here in a while. I saw Bob downstairs and I told him I felt like I needed to ask for some money for an ambulance or something while I was here. But I won't do that. I do appreciate the chance to come by and say hi. Since I changed, full-time jobs a couple of years ago, working with Air Evac, we have a membership program. I get questions from time to time about how that works and what different options might be available. Misty had asked me a few weeks ago to try to come by to one of the court meetings and take just a minute to explain just a little bit of that. And since I don't deal with the membership side of that, Rick Perry, I wanted to introduce to you. Rick is a membership manager for Air Evac Life Team that works this area. Rick and I have tag teamed together over the last couple of years. We've popped in and talked with a lot of the county employees and some of the various departments. We've participated with the county employee health fair, I think, for the last couple of years, handed out some information, but there are some options out there. Everybody doesn't do the same thing. A lot of people do the very unique things and different things. So I don't take up all your time. Just let me introduce Rick and I'll let him explain what might be available. Thank you.
Well, good morning. I want to echo what Mark said as far as thanking you all for the opportunity to come visit with you a little while here and tell you about our program and maybe answer any questions that you have. If you're familiar with us, you know that our service, an air ambulance service, we're here to provide rapid transport, in a medical emergency to definitive care. And where our company differs from most is that we focus on serving rural areas that may have been underserved in the past. And that's how our company began 29 years ago. We're in our 29th year of service. We began in rural Missouri, and we have now grown from that one base to nearly 200 in 28 states. And our business model and the idea being that we want to remain independent so we can do what's right for those rural residents. And in maintaining that independence, that's where the membership program came from. So we wouldn't be beholden to any one hospital or group of hospitals. Our company established a membership 29 years ago, which makes us one of the oldest in the country. And with the 200 locations that we have now, as I said, that makes us the largest in the nation as far as the size of our network. The way the program works, we typically do it per household. One money signs up everyone under that roof. And what your membership does for you, if heaven forbid you were to need it, we bill whatever insurances you may have available, and whatever they pay, good, bad, or ugly, is what we accept as payment in full for anyone that supports us through the membership program. Unfortunately, nowadays these bills are averaging $25,000 to $30,000. Insurances are all over the board, as you can imagine, and they're changing from every year to year, as I know you all are well aware. But with this program, you have access to, like I say, 200 aircraft, and there's no circumstance, if you're a member of ours, where you would ever pay any part of that bill, even on the extreme end where, let's say, your insurance got crossways and denied the whole claim, or you didn't have medical coverage. We actually don't require that someone have medical coverage to become a member of ours. Inside your folder there, this is our standard membership brochure, and inside that you will see the rates for membership, the standard rate. And just for example's sake, the one-year membership, $65. That covers everyone under that person's roof, okay? What I wanted to mention to you all today is an opportunity that we have, and we have done this with many municipalities, industries, school systems, so forth. We have some group plans available, and that's what the second brochure in your folder there is about. The one marked business plans there gives you an idea of just what's available in the way of discounts, and that starts with a $10 discount off of that annual rate, and that can be, we've had folks do that as part of a benefit package. but you don't have to have it become part of a benefit package in order to be able to offer employees those discounts. What most people have done is to help us facilitate an open enrollment, typically with a payroll deduction. And as long as we can receive a single check from that company, from that municipality, then we're able to offer those discounted rates to their employees without anything in the way of a contribution from the company or the treasurer. Does anyone have a question up to this
Well,
point?
Mark, and I'm not sure, there are two, I think I'm a member of two airbags.
Yes, sir.
Yours and maybe one more, I can't,
PHI.
PHI, yeah,
Right.
okay.
Yes, sir. As you say, there is another program in the area where we differentiate from them, and, you know, they do great work. They're out there for the same reason we are, but where I feel like our company is differentiated is just a sheer number of resources. I think they operate 2 bases in Kentucky. We have a dozen, I believe, and are getting ready to open another base that will actually be serving part of this area should we need multiple aircraft, or should the primary at Mayfield be dedicated otherwise. We're going to be opening a base mid-July up in Crittenden County at Marion. And so we'll have something better than a dozen aircraft in Kentucky at that time. And like I say, network-wide, we're looking at a total of 200 in 28 states. And so if a member were traveling for vacation, business, whatever the case may be, if you had a medical emergency, as long as it's one of them that we operate, it could be in Texas, California, or Florida, and that membership's going to take care of you just like you were right here at home and use the one down the road in Mayfield. So no differentiation between one base and another. Your membership's going to take care of you, and you've got the same benefit at any one of those 200 locations. The employee enrollment payroll deduction plan has been very popular for us. The employees seem to appreciate, you know, the opportunity to get that discount and to have it done in a manner that's convenient for them and one that's easy on their budget. We've seen really high participation rates among employee bases when they were offered, you know, the opportunity to do that. And so we wanted to make you aware that that we have this type program available, this type discount available, and one where they could participate without anything, you know, being a burden on the budget, you know, as far as the county goes. And have had many right here in this area, including the city, to do the same thing, and just been very successful. We appreciate, you know, the opportunity to be here and to be operating and serving patients in this area, and then also the support that we've received from the community. We have gotten a really warm welcome over the last couple of years, and the support has been solid, and we're just very appreciative to be here. So,
Rick, one
Yes,
thing
sir.
you pointed out, and I don't know what it is now, but I know 5 years ago,
right,
when I had to use an airback, it was a 3.5 minute ride, and $8,000 later, I'm on the ground
right,
in Memphis.
yes,
And your insurance will cover a part of that, but it will not cover all of it.
correct,
And being a member, and that's why I'm a member of your group and the other group too.
right,
You hope you never have to use it,
Amen.
but if you're a member, then, I want to make sure everybody understands, if you're a member, then your company files no other claim other than what your insurance is gonna pay.
correct, yes, sir.
And
That's
usually that's
exactly
not
right.
enough to cover the whole thing.
No, you know, and like you say, most will pay some, but depending on your coverage, it usually leaves a pretty good gap.
Yeah.
And as you all deal with insurances, I know you're aware that each year, you know, we're upping deductibles and whittling down coverages in order to keep it at a level that you can afford it. And so, you know, in a year or two from now, it may pay even less than what it does
Sure.
today. But there's a sizable gap, and in some policies, it's better than half that could be left owing. And like I say, today, where your bill was 8,000, today it'd be more like 28,000
Yeah.
probably. So it's considerable.
Any questions, Rick?
I just had one. I mean, we have discussed offering this before to employees, to have the automatic deduction option. Is that something that they could do beginning the new fiscal year in July? Or would we have to wait until January, similar to what we do the gym memberships? Could we start something
I
in July?
think that would be up to Aerovac if they would,
Oh,
whenever
we-
they wanted to start.
Your
a
years
membership.
run anytime?
Well, anytime, yes, ma'am. We'll just set an anniversary date whenever we get that started, but with July upcoming, that might be a great time to start.
Yeah.
Some folks choose to do it over the 26 pay periods or the 52, whatever they have. Some folks decide we'd rather, recoup our money within the first 6 months, and so, they're finished by December. And just depends on, we'll work with you any way we can. I think any of you that, or those folks that we've worked with before would tell you that I do all I can to create or keep from creating a burden for you. I'll, run the spreadsheets, I'll do all the sign-ups and everything, and we try to keep it as simple as possible and take on all the work that we can, and it's really worked out well for us.
And if that was something that you all wanted to do, we could, he'd have the month of June to be able to talk to the employees where we could get it, started in July, actually, the deductions.
That'd be
and
great.
the
If
check.
I'm not mistaken, we voted on this like last year. I mean, we talked about having both Air Medical Services come in and offer that for the employees, and we just never did it. And I ran into Mark and I said, we've talked about this as a court and agreed we'd like to maybe see if we could get a group discount for the employees. And that's why I asked him to share the information. I thought
That's
maybe it'd be a
great.
good time to.
And if we have a certain number, I'm not sure exactly how many employees you all deal with, but if we have so many participate, it could be even less than that initial discount. So we'd welcome the opportunity to do something like that,
Okay.
really would. I appreciate your time.
Do you need a new vote on it, or I think?
I don't know, because generally, the only thing that historically we've required is that if we're gonna do some type of payroll deduction, that we have to have a minimum of 30 employees who want to participate in it. And I don't
Right.
think that we would have any trouble whatsoever getting that
Okay,
with this product.
okay.
But I think probably, Commissioner, it would be probably in order to go ahead and do a separate motion, since it will be a new
Okay.
budget year,
Okay.
to offer this, this service to the employees if they're interested. And like she said, we need 30 to do the payroll
Okay.
deduction.
Do we want to offer both I know most people in emergency service have both memberships. Do you want to open that up to employees to have the opportunity to do both? Or, I think if we're entering into an exclusive contract, we need to say that, right? Okay, Jeff is nodding yes. So are we saying that we're only gonna offer Aerovac memberships, or are we saying that we're gonna offer, what do you suggest? What's the best way to do
Well,
it?
it depends on what you want to do. I mean, you offer the same thing for other type of coverages. And they're not exclusive.
Right. We do have multiple cancer policies offered to
Yeah.
different employees, but it's all at their
At
own
their option.
expense.
So let's
Yes.
say that we would
I mean,
offer
at
the
this
option
point,
of either Aerovac or
These guys have the
PHI.
only ones shown an interest, and it's just like, some other insurance company approaching you and saying, we would like to do this and they've always been allowed to, as long as we have 30
30
or more participate.
And we usually only offer it to full-time employees. It's not, we have very few part-time, but it's not available for part-time due to, we'll base it off of the whole 24 pay period year, and they may miss a pay period or two, and we don't want to have to go back and recoup those.
Let me just say one thing. The reason some people carry both memberships, in case people don't know, is because obviously sometimes when you can't state your preference, if you're in a
Right.
very bad accident, obviously you can't state your preference. And right now, we don't have any way to enter that information. We discussed a way to enter it into the CAD system so that maybe there was some sort of an ID as to whose membership service you were with. If you get flown out by the other service and you have this membership, it's not covered, vice versa. That's how
Correct.
that works. So a lot of
That's
people
right.
opt to go in with both. It's probably recommended to have both.
I
but-
think, if I'm not mistaken, in Benton, Aerovac is first call when you get up in the north end of the county around Calvert City. Then PHI is a little closer and they become first call. So That's right, and we do have some folks that have dual memberships. I mean, the
Yes.
reason that one of them is a good idea is the same reason the others
Exactly.
is a good idea, and so.
I would say for that reason, we should offer both. And then obviously, the group discounts only apply if that one carrier gets that many. So, I mean, I would maybe suggest that we explain to people exactly what we just said, that if your membership, it doesn't transfer to the other service. I think we need to make that clear, so maybe.
I'll
people would be
definitely do
encouraged.
that in any of the information meetings that we have, or anytime I'm talking with a person, we make it clear, you know, it's not a true insurance product and that it's gonna pay for any service in the country. It's only those resources that we own and operate, and that's the difference between a membership and
And I didn't mean to infer that, I just compared it to
No,
insurance.
I understand, but, yeah, I always make that, you know, clear anytime that we're having, an information or Q&A type session, something like that, because that's an important, you know, there's things that it is and there's things that it's not. And-
Right.
And, so.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Rick.
Yes, sir, thank you all, appreciate your time.
You know, just let them two work it out, right, and draft a letter for employees. Written.
I beg your pardon?
I mean, they can just work that out among themselves. You don't need anything else on that,
I
right?
don't, where'd she go? I don't think so. I think we already had a motion,
We
if
did.
I understood, on the books a year ago. I just didn't know whether we wanted to put another motion. I don't think we
I
have to.
think, no, well, here's the thing, and I think we talked about
Clear
this
it up.
before, is that if you're not authorizing just anybody to come in and do informational selling type meetings with
Right.
the employees.
Right.
I mean, I think my thought was that you wanted to monitor that just to kind of see, because you don't want your employees inundated with a bunch of stuff that
No.
they don't want.
Yeah, we
But
talked
you
about it
are,
as a benefit.
and, you know, for situations like this where you see it as legit and a benefit, where they can be a part of something that they need and can save money, then you're allowing that. So that's the reason they would come and make the presentation, and then if, you know, I think you've already got the approval, unless there's some objection, but it wouldn't hurt to vote on it.
No, this came about when our healthcare costs for
Yes.
employees went up, and we were looking for a way to give them some added benefit.
Well, our only role would be if you have 30 employees that are interested in this benefit, is to payroll deduct it. We're not offering any stipend or anything else, other than the fact that we will approve that as a payroll deduction if, in fact, 30 or more employees wish to take advantage of this offer.
I don't think you'd have any problem meeting it, because I'd say everybody in my office would probably be
Makes it good.
more than willing to do that.
I mean, like I say, I've been a member for some time with both of them. Okay. So if there's no further action, why, y'all work it out to see if we can get the proper amount of people. At our last meeting, we had our jail inspection report and asked Roger to come today to give his response. Roger has written already his response to the Department of Corrections. So Roger, you want to address those?
Yeah, I sure will. Judge. First, I have a question for these gentlemen. Does that cover anybody under your roof? I have a big roof down there.
We know you do.
Maybe we need to get a policy for the jail down there, and $65 would be a great deal for a year, huh? Hopefully I would never use it, but, yeah, Judge, I apologize for not being here last time, but I think that I had just actually received my inspection report about the time the meeting was around. But yeah, they had me for a non-compliance on in my table and bench area in my female cell that actually has probably been like that for about 7 or 8 years now, and finally got written up for it. And I kind of expected probably to be written up for it a long time ago, but I don't know how come they just now got me for it. But when we done an addition back in the mid-2005, 2006, something like that. When they changed the square footage law, it was 50 square foot per inmate, and they reduced it to 40 square foot per inmate. That's kind of how that come in effect there. So we actually bought a new picnic table and had to do some modifications to it, because that's what I tried to tell the inspector is if I put this table in here, then we're blocking the entrance, the exit, so you're gonna have a fire hazard then. So we actually had to do some modifications to the table to keep it from blocking the exit area. And actually, I believe the day that I got my inspection back was the day that we put it in. So I responded back to them that we've got the table modified and put in place. The other one was not having a procedure for transporting inmates outside the jail. To my knowledge, there's been no new jail standard or anything, so the thing has been the same for years and years and years. So I'm going to work with my jail inspector to put a procedure in place there, and I think it's just a matter of a few words just to tell them what kind of training and how many hours we do for transporting, which actually, if you'll note down there, I put a note down there that transport procedures addressed each year at deputy jailer training provided by DOC, so they actually do the training for us.
I couldn't understand that one, Raj. I didn't know if they had changed their rules, but.
I don't know of any kinds of change at all. I think the only thing that they're saying is that in my policy procedure, I've not noted what kind of training they have and how many hours they have, you know, which I never send a rookie out transporting to start with. It's always a senior officer. So, and any time that we do, we will send a rookie with a senior officer for several trips before they ever transport anyway. So I think it's just a matter of putting a few words in, just telling them what I do. And like I said, I've kind of spoken to my jail inspector already, and he's going to, this is a deal that I think out of all the jails he's inspected this year already, I think there's been one of them that didn't get wrote up for it, so it's kind of
I think all it requires is that you say that whoever transports is properly trained and follows the
Yeah.
regulations.
correct, yeah.
That's your policy.
Yeah, and that they're you know, they've been,
I mean, the policies are set forth in the regs.
exactly, yes. So I just got to do a procedure there.
Say you're
that-
gonna follow.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, so. So, other than that, had a great report, so.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you, sir.
questions to Roger? All right. Thank you, Roger. Wendy, you had wanted to talk to the court this morning in executive session, I believe, in regard to try to get our,
About personnel for the inspector
for the,
process.
yes, is PVA here, so we will be able to be in on the meeting, or?
He's not, he had an appointment this morning, so couldn't be in court, but the gentleman should be downstairs in your office, just so you know, to do executive session.
All right, you received word that they wanted our answer within, what, a month or 2 weeks or
The
whatever?
state attorney called me, today is on Friday. He had gotten an email from Jeff at one point, and then, I don't know, we emailed him, I don't know, back in April or something like that. And so, he wanted to know what our process was. He was trying to get everybody finished up. That was kind of dragging the process. It was his words, you know, so, so we've talked to Kat, and we've kind of he's got someone he's willing to train to do this, and Tony Henson and I have worked on a pay scale. However, the pay scale that we worked out is insignificant until we talk to this guy to see what he wants to do the job, you know, so, and what the fiscal court would be willing to put towards the process. And I mean, it's gonna unfortunately cost some money in the beginning and probably permanently, but, you know, for the employee and and then for someone to keep the program going as well. So, but they should be downstairs in your office as a personnel
All right.
issue if we can meet with them.
All right, do I have a motion? We go into executive session to
Judge.
take care of this personnel matter? Yes.
Before we go downstairs, and along those lines, I submitted a new agreement with the city of Hardin. I think there were some concerns last time about the fee splitting, and I've changed that in the new agreement to say that as long as the county is administering the program, it'll be 100% to the county. If the city ever decides that they want to administer it, it'd be 80-20 split. I don't think that'll happen, but I think that alleviates the concerns that the court may have had last time.
All right. We'll get into this in a minute. Or do you want to go ahead and take it up now?
All it takes is just a quick motion and approval.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between the city of Hardin and county of Marshall.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved, Judge.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. To be in executive session. All right, let's call the court back into regular session. We were talking about the expanded jurisdiction, which we've been talking about for about 2 years now, and trying to become compliant with Kentucky law. A bill that was passed several, well, I guess 2 sessions ago, Larry Clark bill. And in talking about how we were going to handle this, we do know that the City of Benton, the City of Hardin, has asked to go in a cooperative arrangement with the county. Not sure yet what their plans are, but it's become apparent that we are going to have need to hire a full-time inspector for single-family dwellings. Mr. Spears, who is a level 3 inspector, has said he will sign off for Mark McAllister to become our inspector beginning July 1 at an hourly rate of $18 an hour plus benefits. And we'll give him 6 months to have his first level of instruction completed, test passed. There's about, how many tests did he say, 6? 6 or 7 tests to get all the way to level 3. We understand that that's a drawn-out process and is going to take some time. Also, it was brought up in fiscal court that we approached the city of Benton to have all inspections or have all of the paperwork handled out of their city clerk, or is it, who does?
Lois Cunningham.
Building Inspections Office, which is Lois Cunningham, to handle that. And we will try to get with the city of Benton, Jeff, if we can today, to try to get this. But that's the proposal that's before the court. So what is your pleasure?
Make a motion, Judge.
We have a motion that we employ Mr. McAllister at $18 an hour plus benefits beginning July 1, and to ask the city of Benton to administer that side of the program. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry.
Yes?
The liability insurance that we carry for, that Cat has, that we pay the bill, he will probably need that also. It'll probably need to be included in his package.
What's the total cost of that? Do you know?
It's about $2,000 a year,
I
isn't
think
it?
Cat's is like $3,200
Oh,
a year.
3,200, more than that. He's a level 3.
Yeah, so it may be less.
For residential. We'll have to cover it.
I bet you can't insure it.
Because he's an employee.
The insurance is for Cat. It won't, Mark won't be signing anything.
Right, I don't think we'll have to cover him until such time as he gets certified.
That may be
Okay.
right.
I think that's a moot point. But-
Okay.
All right, you got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay. Anybody else here to address the court before we get into correspondence? We have, in correspondence from Junior Achievement, this is something that I've personally been involved in, and they asked me to address the court with it. Said, "You're receiving this letter because you understand the importance of financial literacy and work-related skills are to the vitality of our current and future workforce. Because I know of your support and love for this community, I would invite the court to become an integral part of preparing our future workforce here in Marshall County by supporting Junior Achievement Program for the upcoming school year. Junior Achievement is working in partnership with our local schools to teach business and financial literacy to Marshall County students to better prepare them for life and the workforce. Our local board is proud to lead this effort as they annually are providing programs for nearly 700 local students. We need your support for our local students. There is a letter from Trent Levitt supporting this program. You can do this as a court, or you can do it individually. Said, please consider a gift to Junior Achievement as a $500 classroom champion and champion our cause. Invite others to engage and invest in the future of our children and our community. This is from Crystal Bailey, the JA campaign treasurer. So,
Judge?
yeah.
Just to add on to that, I've had some involvement with Junior Achievement in the past and working with Wendy and some of the folks who are working on our work-ready certification. There's an area in that certification, excuse me, that they measure how you're training young people and using soft skills, money management, things like that. Junior Achievement is part of that package that we're using, so keep that in mind. We'll be using that later on. So.
Okay. Their request is for $500 for support for Junior Achievement. What's your pleasure?
Judge, I think we have $4,500 in unallocated funds for next budget year. Is that right?
Some individually anyway. This is part of the work ready, you're saying that's part of what we're doing toward getting work ready?
Yeah, in order to receive that certification, there are a number of goals that we have to meet. A lot of counties do it different ways. For us, we identified Junior Achievement as our soft skills program. So
then we should support it then, if that's
I
what.
say that because Junior Achievement has had a hard time really getting established in our county. But the benefit of having this program in our elementary school, and the benefit of being able to grow this program, when we talk about, things as simple as bouncing a checkbook and not using a credit card or whatever, it helps us in that arena to prepare these kids for.
Do the classroom sponsor.
Yeah, I'd move that we do the classroom sponsored $500 then, and it'll be help toward our work ready program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to provide $500 to Junior Achievement. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving into old business, you received the minutes of the May 19 court meeting and the May 19 budget workshop meeting. Any corrections or additions to the minutes of the meeting?
None.
I have none.
Move to approve the minute.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. At our last meeting, we had, public hearings. Here it is. Had public hearings on the John Mason Drive and James Martin Drive. There was no one here to either speak in favor of or in opposition to. The viewers gave their report and recommended that John Mason Drive and James Martin Drive be accepted into the county road maintenance system in its current condition. And there has been no further objection to that, at least to my office. I don't know if any of you heard any or not. All right, I would entertain a motion to accept John Mason Drive and James Martin Drive into the county road system.
Make a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. At our last meeting, we talked about the janitor's assistant position. Emily, I think you and,
Rita and I have discussed that.
All right.
She's wanting to get somebody hired as soon as possible, due to a glitch with the ad in the paper. It's gonna run today. She's hoping to do interviews on Friday, because her grandbaby is just about due anytime, so, if you all would authorize Jeff or Judge or somebody to, sit in with those interviews and make an offer of employment that day. And then we can report back who we hire at the next meeting.
It's fine with me.
you heard the request?
Make a motion to that effect, Judge.
You want Jeff and I to sit in on it?
Whoever's got time and available.
Are you gonna be here or are you gonna be gone?
I'm
So
gonna be
it'll
gone.
Well, Jeff, can you be able to do it? Jeff and I will do it along with Rita.
As long as it's Friday.
Cause she has to be the one to work with this person, so it doesn't really matter to me who we get, but as long as we get somebody good. So, Bob, if you'd move that Jeff and I sit in on the meetings with Rita.
So moved.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Make that
Second.
offer.
Authorize you
Motion
to
second.
make that hire.
All right,
Do we need to remove the hiring freeze first? I'd make a motion that we remove the hiring freeze so we can fill this position, and then will we have to motion when we get back in court to put it back on?
right,
Okay.
all right. Let's hold Bob's motion in abeyance for a minute.
Also need to do, I guess, retroactively.
For the other.
Lift the,
Anything else?
Details.
Mr. Drew has made a motion that we lift the hiring freeze in order to hire Mr. Mark McAllister as our single dwelling inspector effective July 1st, and also to hire a person in the janitorial department for the county. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. That motion carries. Now, Bob, your motion was to allow Jeff and I to work with Rita in interviewing a person for the janitorial position.
And make that hire.
And make that hire. Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Anything else?
I think that'll do it, Judge.
All right. Okay, we did get our renewal on our CAF, workers' comp, and earthquake insurance. I think we had agreed on everything, but the earthquake, is that correct?
Yes.
And the earthquake, premium renewal, is $66,581. And our CAF premium, which I think we've already, for 14 and 15, was $336,485. Workers' comp, $217,051, and then earthquake, $66,581. This has been budgeted, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the earthquake renewal quote from the Kentucky Association of Counties All Lines Fund.
Make that motion, Judge.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Whoops, let me get that sent back. Okay. Any other old business?
You skipped over the nuisance
We skipped
violation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. Nuisance violations. What you got, Kev? Anything else?
I
Any new?
don't have anything new,
We did, when you gave those, the other day,
last one.
there was one in there that Kevin and I both had a little concern about. It looked like more junk, I mean, instead of the house being deteriorated, it looked like it was just clutter.
Yeah.
I don't know if,
Be a complaint on my yard if I don't mow it pretty soon.
has anything, have we written letters or anything to these people?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I
That-
turned it over to you,
Yeah.
because my part's already been done and
Okay.
nothing,
They didn't reply.
they didn't
That's what I
reply
thought. Those didn't
whatsoever.
reply.
None at all.
Okay.
Has the company that won the bid, have they started,
I haven't been to Gilbert's. I don't know. They haven't.
do we need to make contact with them to get a set schedule? I would just like for us to see the first one, don't you, and make sure that they're in compliance with what the court spec'd out, and then maybe pay them accordingly. Did we set any type of a payment schedule or anything, since there were 6 different?
We could go ahead and, to keep those expenses in this fiscal year, we could go ahead and issue the 6 checks for each amount, but just then
Well, I wouldn't
hold,
wanna-
hold each of those checks until that job is
Completed.
complete. But that way the expenses is still incurred in this fiscal year.
Do we have somebody that can go out and make that approval? Have we designated anybody that could ensure that it's in
They
compliance?
can Tell us to release the check, not that I know of.
When I talked to the I talked to everybody that put in a bid, and not only just the gentleman that got it, but the other ones, and, he said he was gonna start after, he said the holiday. I called him the afternoon we had court. He was talking Memorial Day, and if you hadn't started yet, you want me to call him again and say, hey, what's going on?
I think so, and get a
Well,
schedule.
I'd like to go out, or, somebody,
I think
I'd be
Troy's
willing
on
to do it,
do
or
it,
Troy
yeah.
would, we'd go out and take
Either
a look,
way.
make sure they did it right,
I think so.
and what we expected. So, yeah, we'll contact them, we'll go from there. Any other old business? All right, let's move into new business. We have from the Office of Rural Secondary Roads, our county road aid agreement. We have a resolution, and the agreement. This is from Don Pasley's office. Melanie, you wanna read that?
Okay. Fiscal Court of Marshall County, resolution adopting and approving the execution of the County Road Aid Cooperative Program contract between the Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being a part of the county road system. Be it resolved by the fiscal court that the fiscal court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in said contract as being a part of the county road system, and the fiscal court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representation, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. And the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the fiscal court of Marshall County, and the county clerk of Marshall County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereof. That is the resolution.
We need to get a motion on the resolution before we do
Okay,
the other.
do you want me to just list the names of the roads?
No, they're all,
Okay.
all the roads are included. But we need a motion on the resolution first, and they need to sign off on
Okay.
it. All right, you heard the resolution. Do I hear a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve, Judge.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Need everybody to sign that before they leave. We'll get to the amount in a minute, which is in the document. We're pretty close to where we were last year in rural and secondary aid money. Check with Emily. I need to sign that as well.
The amount for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014 is $1,531,610.24.
Now, if you recall, we get so much in the first allocation. The second allocation will be after January 1st. At that time, they will adjust according to gasoline sales and diesel fuel sales in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. That's where this money is derived from.
The first distribution will be, the initial amount is $891,397. The second that he referred to is going to be up to and including an additional 35% of the apportionment to the county, less 3% of the apportionment set aside for the emergency fund below. And final distribution will be the remaining percentage.
So we need a motion on that as well, I think.
Did you want me to read the whole thing or just kind
No.
of spot the highlights?
Unless they want you to read it all.
It's 6
that's fine.
pages, I will if you want me to.
It's standard that you do every year.
Here's the signature page.
That's the agreement.
We need a motion to assign, to execute this agreement as of today's date. What's your pleasure?
Make that motion, Judge.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. This has to be sent back to rural roads, and then they will sign off, and has to be in by July 1.
I'll send it certified today.
So you'll need Tim to sign off on the resolution as well. All right, let's move into treasurer's report.
As of May 31st, 2014, the general fund had a book balance of $571,125.66. Road fund, $405,044.19. Jail fund, $66,908.53. Grant fund, $6,526.87. 911 fund, $159,907.37. Occupational tax administrator, $4,162,399.68. And Veterans van fund, $1,695.89 for total reportable funds of $5,373,608.19.
All right, you've heard the report. I would entertain a motion to accept the report subject to audit.
Make that motion, Judge.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Accounts receivable.
As of May 31st, 2014, the Sheriff's Department owes $467,723.82 for payroll. That is customary.
Do I hear a motion to accept the accounts receivable report?
Make that motion, Judge.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Let's move to the intra-fund transfer.
I'm asking to move $130,000 from the occupational tax administrator to the jail fund. This should finish them out for the rest of the fiscal year.
All right, you've heard the request to transfer $130,000 to the jail fund. Do I hear a motion?
Make that motion, Judge.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the motion?
That's within the budget there.
Yes, they had,
No,
that,
yeah.
that leaves $7,000 that was budgeted to be transferred there that's unused.
Okay.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Do anything else? Russell and I have been talking about the new federal standard that reflectivity requirements for our traffic signs. We started this some time ago, then the state backed off. Now they're coming in to reinforce this, and they wanted to get a kind of a plan of what we're gonna do. Now, we have to establish a sign maintenance program by June 13th. Meet the new requirements, not by then, but to meet the new federal requirements, the Marshall County Road Department will need an additional funding and the annual operating expense to implement this sign maintenance program and to begin the purchase and installation of new traffic signs. We will maintain our road signs by using the blanket replacement method. The requested improvements include the following. We'll replace all of our stop signs within the first year, all warning signs in the third year, and replace all street name signs in year 5. We just had to give them something to show that we're moving toward their mandate. And I don't think that we have to meet this by the 14th. We just have to give them our, Russell,
Plan
give
of
them our
action.
Plan of action.
And for some reason, before they had dates, like on the stop signs, you had to have them changed. For some reason, they took the dates off of them, but you got to, they may not be giving you a deadline, but you're supposed to be in process of doing it all.
But we were purchasing those,
Yeah.
those materials and replacing them when they were
Right.
during maintenance already. So we're just
But,
gonna,
I'm pretty sure speed limit signs, anything over 35 and above, has even got to go to a bigger size.
Kind of like those at the intersection of I-24 and Purchase Parkway,
Yeah.
those monster ones.
And I think, we've been using 18 by 24s, and I think 35 and above's got to be 24 by 30s now.
How much will all this cost, do you project, Russell?
We're working on that right now. John is going through every road in the county. He's just finished with District 3. And he's wrote down every sign, every post and everything, and he ought to be able to give us a halfway decent price here, maybe within the month.
Okay.
But, it's gonna be a bunch. I think
Yeah.
we've already got we've already raised, the budget up on the signs to hopefully take care of it.
All right, do I hear a motion that we accept the plan of action as set forth by our road superintendent in regard to, meeting the retroreflectivity requirements?
Make that motion, Judge.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. This may change again before, but you need to get this sent in, Russ.
I think we just have to keep it on file.
Is that right?
Okay, yeah, if you don't care, sign it or
Yeah.
have all of you to sign it or.
I'll get you a copy of the minutes to go with it.
Everybody sign. Go ahead, Russ. Anything else?
That's it. Unless we're talking, we need to go on about the bridge and stuff, if we need to get it ordered. All
Whatever.
right.
We can, you talking about the 80/20?
Yes, as far as
Talk with them, you can do
Calvert
it.
City Road,
Yeah, you can, your prices, you can go either on the annual bid or put it out for bid, whichever the court wants to do, I don't care. The quickest way is, but whatever the court wants to do is fine, we just need to know so we can,
I've got you had called me about that, Judge, and I had met with a contractor and got a really good price on a concrete bridge. I know we didn't have any estimates, but it's being bid as a 40-foot, and from what they're telling me, it could be a 32-foot if it was concrete rather than wooden. And
that's not what the district highway office told us, right, Ross?
Harold Gibson from the state, he is the one that
He's the one that recommended.
recommended a 40-footer.
We spoke with Mr. Gibson, and I'm just going back off my notes here. He had suggested that it be a 40-foot, let's see here, because the timber bridges, they're susceptible to scour issues, and so he thought that it needed to be longer than the existing bridge, which is 32 foot. So there's a potential cost savings if we do it at 32 foot, which is the existing length. So I'd like to put it out for bid. The price that I've got obviously is really good, but since we can't just accept that, right? We have to put it out for bid, and
Yeah,
do we have to
we-
spec it as a 32-foot concrete then?
20,000?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then yes.
And we require, some engineering, and what we normally
You'll
ask.
have to have engineering specs,
Yeah,
I would think. I'm not sure on bidding a bridge, if you,
They included theirs in this bid, so, would we just put it out as a blanket 32-foot bridge then? 32 or 40-foot bridge, I guess, with either concrete or timber, and that way we can kind of compare those two at a 32 and a 40-foot length.
I'd like to get back with, Harold Gibson, and see what he says, as far as, because he was talking about the creek and everything down there. Apparently it's got wider and everything, and that's why I thought he was recommended, a longer bridge.
yeah, 'cause
This-
we'd originally said 32, and he said no.
From what I understand, the timber bridge is gonna have to use piers, and whereas a concrete will just span it. So the wood structure being down, those wood piers being down in that creek line is the concern. Whereas a concrete bridge is just gonna span it, you're not gonna have that, and then they can even use the existing abutments. We spent probably 2 hours out there, but, they felt like the existing abutments could be salvaged, so they bid it a couple different ways. It's a, like I said, I hate to expound, because if we're gonna bid it, then I
Well,
I do that, but-
but if
The
you're gonna,
state's agreeable.
but if they're saying we can use the existing, abutments, that needs to be put in the bid.
That's what I'm saying,
I mean,
they've,
he
that's,
didn't think.
Do what?
Did Gibson not think that would work?
He didn't say far as that right there,
Oh, okay.
but he just,
He just told Russell would needed.
I think he
40
just
foot,
assumed that
which
it
I
was gonna
didn't
be a
care.
timber bridge, so that's how he looked at it, but, I was just curious to know, because I know a lot of counties are using both, and so I just wanted to look into it and educate myself a little bit on the process, and, so anyway, I just wanted to look at our options, and that, so can we bid it, so we can
Sure.
look at those, and,
Sure, we'll put a
Okay.
bid. Jeff, I'll need you to help put a.
Well, I can't draw specs for bridge.
No, but I
mean-
think Russell, get with Harold. We'll get with, Mike McGregor or Harold, have them help us. They, cause I wanna go to bid as well on that, road over at the hospital. And they've helped us getting specs ready for that. Certain things you have to meet, you've got to be,
I mean, do we have to say, I mean, if we're gonna have to do the specs, and we're gonna have to have an engineer.
right.
I mean, I don't know what has to go in the specs, but I would think,
That way they won't take care of that.
no, that's
oh,
up
the
to the
state,
court,
no, I
but
don't
usually the
think so.
contractor, we leave that up to the contractor now.
So we
you
just
know.
tell them we want a 40-foot or 32-foot bridge, and they give us plans and.
Engineered
Okay,
drawing,
okay.
sealed by Kentucky engineer, that protects you.
Yeah, as long as we're sure that, that the state's okay with a 40-foot wood or a 32-foot concrete.
Right.
Well, it need to be either way, it shouldn't make any difference.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know why Harold's saying one thing to Russell, because I don't care.
no, I
We-
think he just
we thought-
assumed, because that's what we have bids on, so I think he just assumed that that's what was going to go in there, that was, and so when the question was posed, could we do concrete? I think it was,
Sure.
yeah, but it would be this way if you did
Or
concrete,
steel,
so.
yeah, I
Check
mean,
with
you
the-
gotta
Yeah,
open it
you
up
have
for
lots of
anything.
options, yeah,
When
on
you open it
those.
up, you open it up, that's
Yeah.
fine. Okay. We'll get it ready.
He'll get that, and then we'll put it together. He's gonna check with that, and then we'll go ahead and do the thing.
All right. You've had an opportunity to review the bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
motion pass bill.
Have a motion, is there a second? Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Anyone else? Got anything else?
Judge, I do. What about the website? Since Andy's not gonna have time and we're not gonna be hiring that position out for them for 6 months, is that something that we could get somebody to come in and give us some ideas on so we could move forward with that? Or, the money's already there, but we're getting ready to roll into another budget cycle. So what would you recommend? Would you like somebody to come in and,
Well, if somebody wants to give us some quotes on it now, we're not sure that we're not gonna have to hire somebody over there because we don't know Lois or the city's gonna assume this responsibility. Won't know that till we meet with the mayor,
I
or
just-
Lois, I guess Lois would be the one, I mean,
yeah, I think so.
but,
Well, is this something, I mean, can we, GIS or whomever, Tony, take that $4,000 and work with somebody to do an upgrade of what we've got?
I mean, Keiko will do a free
We've got-
site for you if you provide them with the information. At least that would get us into a situation where our information is available, at least basic information, meeting times, dates, agendas, minutes, those sorts of things that.
Then how do you get it up, keep it updated?
Well, Keiko will update for you. That's why a lot of the counties across the state use the Keiko provided websites, but they're very generic and they update them for you. Whereas what we were proposing is have a site built to where it's WordPress. I just had one done. It took about 3 days. It's about 5 pages. Ours is obviously going to be much larger, but what they'll do is they'll go in and they'll build you a site, and then in WordPress, we go update it. So in other words, Melanie would have her page for fiscal court, and after each meeting, she'd go into the back end of it and just upload the minutes. And that would kind of be your role. Road department would be similar. That type of thing we can do for the $4,000 we have. And then we maintain it ourselves. When he's got a road closure, he goes right on and they update it right there. Keiko's different. You have to send them the information, they update it at their convenience. So that's the difference between the two. So we could have something either way very quickly. It's just somebody's gonna have to get the ball rolling, because, we've talked about it. golly, 3 years. And we've
Have
got
we
the,
advertised our
Just,
parts?
you know, we had a free page for TVA, it was the same thing, with the state TVA base. So anytime we needed anything, we would have to call
Yeah.
the state, and so we was contracted with a company to do ours, they maintain it, and it's something we can edit ourselves,
Mhm.
but, you know, they were great to work with, we just told them what we wanted, and they just got,
right.
I think we spent 38, something like that, 3,800 from our
Exactly.
grant money
Yeah.
2 years ago.
I mean, so we're right in the price range of where we need to be, and we can get something up that's functional. It may not be all of what the department heads talked about the day that they were in, but we can always add on to it. You know, we can always add functions and different features to it. Yeah.
You know, we can just put an ad in the paper and see what kind of response we get on somebody wanting, you know, if they can do it within what money we've got, I don't have a problem with it at all. The issue was with talking with Tony and talking with, his staff, is that they didn't have the time.
Right.
There was a time issue and a money issue as far as they were concerned.
We had to pay them to maintain it for us. There's no doubt about that, there's maintenance, you know, that goes along with it, but it's not insane. I think $400 a year, and that.
And they host it,
Yeah, it's minimal. And then you can change it when you want to. We have enough people in the county that are tech savvy enough that we can get updates done. It may be a couple hours, it may be instant, depending on whose department needs what, but, I mean, we've got the money.
Our office, you're just gonna put a link to our page.
Right,
They're done.
right.
So I think there's some other offices that already have their
Mhm.
pages, so they would kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, we would prefer that you click on Marshall County Economic Development, that it goes straight to our website.
Mhm.
So we wouldn't do that.
Right. I mean, some of those we have, you know, tourism's very similar. They have, you know, those kind of things.
So can we,
Can I get with Andy and get you some specs? Because you have to bid it, if you're gonna bid it, you have to do it a couple different ways. You either have to bid it by the page or by the hour, or you've gotta bid it as to whether or not you want a WordPress site, which is something we can update, or something that they maintain. If you let somebody else maintain it, they're gonna charge you by the hour. I'd recommend that we don't do that, but I can get Andy to get some different specs, and you can look at them, judge, and see if that's all right with you guys.
sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Just get us some numbers and I'll get Josh and I'll take a look at it. All right, any other business? Danny?
I'd like to say one thing. We're still working on this Deadman property, and they've got to the 15th of this month.
Would you mind coming over to the microphone so they can hear you?
We're still in the process of this Deadman property, which I think it would have been taken care of if Jimmy hadn't passed away. So we give them extension to the 15th.
Oh, I think that's,
And so we've talked to some of the girls, but we haven't found out anything for sure, because you know the situation there. And I won't be able to be here the next meeting, but Troy will be here to give you an update on what's going on. Troy and I was down in Gibbertsville yesterday. There's been nothing done on your cleanup from the people. And one other thing.
who got the contract?
Blake?
Kenneth Baker.
Well, was he the one that was gonna help
Who was it?
Jimmy?
Kenneth Baker?
No,
Is that
Kenneth
right?
Baker was the one, that's Jimmy's brother-in-law. Well, yeah, Kenneth Baker is married to, well, let's see, no, yeah,
He's married to Jimmy's wife.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. They're Jimmy's wife and Kenneth are brothers and sisters,
Right.
yes. And, so, you know, that's all we've got right now. But I've got one other question. Troy is spending quite a bit of time doing this other than his regular duties. I know he's getting a lot of phone calls of the night. Now, how are we gonna handle this? I know he shouldn't be doing it for free now.
Well, that's something we're gonna have to consider because, I think once people see we are serious about this, we got another letter the other day and I never could determine, I don't think Kevin did either, where that house was they were talking about
Still don't have plans.
on 68. They were very, just said, we didn't care, we wasn't doing our job, but we didn't know where they were talking about.
Yeah.
So as things move on, I assume we're gonna get busier, and you're right, we need to
Yeah, it
talk
is gonna
about
pick
how we're
up,
gonna
yes.
compensate. 'Cause
If,
this
if you
is-
want him to be involved, taking care of it, which
Sure.
both of us has been doing it up till now.
Yeah,
You
Does the
know.
state, does the ordinance not take care of that, Jeff? Because whatever time is invoked is to be included in when we place the liens? Yeah, because that's,
Okay.
whatever time I'm taking to do it and whatever my expenses out, I will eventually turn it over to, that was the other thing, who do I bring that to?
You file it with the court?
With the court, okay.
Can he
Yeah,
keep a
'cause
log of those hours so that can he
Pardon?
keep a log of those hours so we
Yes,
can?
oh,
include-
yes,
okay.
we can have him to
Okay.
document every minute, you
Okay.
know.
Oh, sure.
And everything.
That
And,
way that cost can be included
Yeah.
as well,
right,
just like, with
okay.
mine, yeah.
And, this one other question, if this don't come to pass and we have to go to the next step on this Deadman property, there's really nothing to do. We put out the bids, or does the court?
I'd say do it just like we done the last one. I mean, that's.
So we would turn it back to the court and let the court
That's-
bid it out?
right, and, now, you give them till the 15th of June.
Yes.
If nothing is done, then we'll just do like we did before and say, okay,
Yeah.
what's your bid on cleaning this property up?
Well, yes, this lady we talked to yesterday, she was wanting another postponement because of vacations or something, and we told her that this was the second one, you know, and I think we need to stand by it.
Yeah.
We
Oh, I
can't just
agree.
keep postponing it
No.
from now on out. So, Troy will be here at the next meeting to
Okay.
let you know
All right,
what's going on.
thanks, Dan. Any other business? Not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn, Judge.
A motion, is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Meeting's adjourned.